Kenneth Proby Jr., and this is my Hooper story. Yes, very much. When I was younger, I had a go-to move, um, but as I started to progress even more, um, I mainly just read what the defense give me. I'm watching their feet, if they're flat-footed or on their toes. I have a quick first step. I'm big on change of pace. So just being deceptive in my movement for sure. But as far as getting to my spots, that's one thing that I do make sure I do. Um, you know, Obviously understanding what my spots are on the floor that are my sweet spots, but not really much a go-to move, just more so just reading the defense now and see what they give me, and then I just go from there. Right after middle school, that this is what I really wanted to do, um, like on a serious level. I never thought I didn't know I was going to be a pro. I always wanted to play professional basketball. That's everybody's dream. But yeah, right after middle school is when I realized that I'm going to do basketball. I'm going to stick with basketball, and I'm going to do everything I can to maximize opportunities, whether it's for myself or whether it's for others. Oh, uh, that's a good one. I would say my first pro game over in Cape Verde in Africa was a great feeling to be able to go overseas during such a challenging time during the pandemic, and then still be able to you know produce the way that they expected me to. Going into the game, I felt really good. I was knocking down my shots; it was going straight in. It felt really good. I had the ball in the string. Hit a big shot as well to seal the game. It was just a lot of hype to it, and plus it's my first time playing in that African league. So it was just I was soaking the experience in, and I think afterwards, I just felt like, wow, I really just, this is a blessing. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I was playing for this ABA team. My first game for them, I played, I think, 38 minutes, and I think I had like 6 points, and I just was not effective. It just wasn't there. Shots weren't falling. Had some turnovers. Yeah, it just was a bad performance. I was missing layups, contact finishes. Oh, I'm at it daily. But I'm also mindful of my body. I'm doing a lot of recovery, um, maximizing my days. So I'm just being more mindful and conservative. But yeah, I'm doing something daily for sure. I'm doing 2 days now. And then July 1st, we're going to kind of pick it up and readjust the schedule even more to try to see how I can be able to fit an extra one in. What I love about basketball is one thing that I realized by being a player and a coach is the way you play basketball is the way you live your life. You get a chance to really see how somebody, well, who somebody truly is, because the biggest thing is everything shows. I'm not more so speaking from the classroom, I'm more so just speaking what kind of person they are. Somebody selfish would show selfishness on the basketball court. You can't ask somebody selfish to be unselfish if selfishness is what they're about. I just like what the game is doing now for our future generation. Um, and the reason why I say that is because I just think that there's such a perception that it's about them. I don't like AAU basketball now. I don't like. I just don't like how basketball is for these kids coming up. They're not playing the right way. They're mimicking what NBA players are doing, flopping and not playing the game, not playing through contact. Um, and then you got guys who are tall. They're mimicking Wimby. But they're also not finding ways on how to be effective. I don't think that they're being taught the game of basketball, not just physically, and with you know how to play, how to be effective on both ends. I think that everybody is so caught on scoring still, and it's challenging because, there are, the stat line is, there's many different attributes, that contributes to a full stat line. And I think that these kids are focusing just on one aspect of the game, and that's scoring. But there's assists, there's rebounding, there's boxing out that don't show up on the stat sheet. There's making the right pass, making the right play. Um, there are just so many, aspects of the game that I think is important. So I don't like what they're being taught. I don't like what we're promoting. We're promoting just basketball players who are not playing the game the right way. It just basically simple as that. They're just not playing the game the right way. I also don't like the support system that parents are having on kids. They're putting so much pressure on them. I've known that from, obviously being a coach, and also a player. I think that parents put so much pressure on their kids, and they're in their ear, and they got your coach in your ear, and then you're in your head, and it just too much. And then also, I don't like about the game of basketball is the fact that NIL um, uh, is in place now, so people are just their headspace is out of it. Yeah, they're just so much going on. They're able to get NIL revenue at the high school level now,
Hmm.
which is crazy. So there's just so much to the game that I'm just not liking. That is more so from a support system, and also with certain things that they put in place like NIL that I think is somewhat detrimental, especially at an early age. And I also don't um, like even at the higher level, like the NCAA. I don't like how college basketball is going. But it is what it is. I wish that education still become a main priority, so that we just don't get caught in this NIL phase and chasing the money versus the important thing, and that is maximizing the opportunity you're given. For a scholarship, get your education and and see what happens next. In 2017, I was walking on to Toledo, University of Toledo, it's Toledo, Ohio. Had the opportunity to go lower, like D2, D3, whatever, but I really wanted to walk on, and they were going to give me the opportunity. I talked to Coach Cal Barlow. He's now with Ohio University, but they were truly considering me to be like a preferred walk on. But the problem was when I got there, um, they decided to keep the guards that they had, and they were mainly focused on a big man from Italy. Um, and I was kind of like, wow, I was kind of hurt, but immediately I just snapped into gear. I know what I'm here for, and that is to get my bachelor's degree in sports management. So that's what I wanted, and I wanted to both, be able to play and walk on, and get the opportunity to have my athletic career start early. So I thought I was going to, put them shoes in the closet, and I was just going to be done. But right after, that walking opportunity wasn't made available for me, they brought up bringing me in as a practice on a scout team, as a practice player, and I took some thought into it, on what that would do. But I had to transition though, like my thought process, because it was really challenging for me at 2017 in 2017. Having the mindset of coming in as a practice player, especially knowing that I was starting to get opportunities to transfer out of Toledo while I was, attending the university. It was a big challenge, but I had to understand, the bigger picture, and that's buying into a program, learning how to be team oriented. The coaching staff had taught me so much. How to break down film. How to be more detailed. How to just really read the game at a higher level. They taught me how to be a pro, basically. I think that it can if the trainer, instructor is very detailed and patient within the videos. But I know that's, it's basically just being able to exemplify the words, have clear instruction, because obviously the videos are being cut for social media purposes. So I think that with clear instruction, and their attention to detail and, doing a good job actively listening, I think that you can get true results from remote training because that's what's already happening now. So yeah, I definitely think remote training is good, and I think that basketball can be learned remotely. Short-term goals, me personally, is maximize my playing experience, extend my career as much as possible, and be successful. And then from a training aspect, obviously being able to, grow as a, grow even more like platforms that we spoke about, social media wise, so that many kids can continue to, utilize this content and be able to implement these things into their own training regimens. So that's what I really want. Shout out Hooper House. Um,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, I think Hooper House is going to grow. I think that there's, some good guys, this way. And I think that, once again, uh, the content, I like the things that I've been seeing. That's what got me, more so wanting to buy into it. Yeah, shout out to Hooper House. I think that Hooper House is going to continue to grow with the right, with time. I think that things are going to kick off, and Hooper House is going to be very well known here soon in the near future. So I definitely recommend, student athletes to just be on the lookout for all the content and things that we have in store. I definitely think that great things are coming soon, along with great partnerships and just people willing to, buy into, what Hooper House has in store because it's definitely going to be worth it. So, yeah, definitely stay tuned. Tap in with Hooper House. All we do is win.
All we do is win, twin. Yeah, all we do is win, twin. All we do is win, twin. Yeah, all we do is win, twin. All we do is win, twin. Yeah, all we do is win, twin.